Good evening. Welcome to WooTube. How are you all doing today? Hope you're all well. Turn this down a bit more. Bum bum bum. Yeah. So we got some news today, like actual exciting news. It's not often I get to talk about news. But hopefully there'll be more to come. This article definitely suggests that there'll be more to come. Maybe we'll jump into that in just a second. Other things which are going to be happening today is... let's see if I can scroll to the right page. I can't. Is this. This is my attempt at making a deck which can consistently do enough net damage to kill you turn one as the runner without having to run into anything from a corp, based on something which a question which came up in GLC earlier this week. So we'll have a look at that in a second. And where's Jinteki? Right, there we go. And then we're gonna try and build something using this shell as an idea. I will just kind of put these bits and pieces out there as little tidbits to start off with, and if you can work out what is going on here, then yeah, I mean that's like all the clues that I think you need. But yeah, maybe we'll start off by doing the most dumb thing of the night, which is this deck here. So essentially a question was put forward in GLC the other day, green level clearance. I think it was in the daily question section, and it basically talked about being able to deck yourself, or not deck yourself, but yeah, I guess deck yourself like turn one as the runner. So do enough net damage or meat damage or whatever, self-inflicted, so that you can consistently lose turn one. And it was kind of posed as a kind of question of, like, you know, with games getting longer, like sometimes you maybe just want to like get on with it, get on with your day in a big tournament, and this is a way to kind of cut down the amount of time which you have to play Netrunner for, which I thought was very, very funny. So I kind of had a little think about it, and I think that with a decent 98% chance or something along those lines, I think this deck can do that. It should be able to kind of kill you on turn one. It's kind of got some interesting lines. There's some very, very easy options. Basically, anytime you draw a patchwork and a synth gland in your opening hand, then you have a win. Well, and by win here, obviously, I'm saying you instantly lose. But that's what we're trying to do. You can do that in as little as 3 clicks, which is great. And then we've got some other things that can really make it. Dadiana Chacon is like a classic here. So if you haven't come across him before, it's a 0 cost connection. And it says when a turn begins, gain 1 if you have fewer than 6 credits. So it's kind of like literally a poor man's Riteki, I guess, because it only works if you're poor. And it says when you have 0 credits, trash Dadiana Chacon. And the most hilarious interaction here is that people, if you ever do play this, you forget that if you play an event, say a Sure Gamble, which costs 5, then for a brief moment of time you have 0 credits. So a classic is kind of putting down a Dadiana Shakon, playing Sure Gamble, and then it instantly doing 3 meat damage. Evening Phil, how you doing today? Phil asks, do you think the new cycle will have some cards that combo well with our small-handed Brazilian Nat? I did not realise that Nat was Brazilian. Is he Brazilian? That's pretty cool if he is. I mean, I feel like Nat would probably need quite a lot of support to be competitive. Because even with the cards which he kind of got, stuff like Guinea Pig and I guess Cradle, and I think Cradle was probably just outclassed by Buzzsaw now anyway. And what else? He got some cool stuff like the Trash Your Hand and Do no meat damage one. That was cool. Noble Path. That was fun. But I mean, gain 1 is gain 1 credit each turn is a kind of fine ability, but when you have to jump through so many hoops as you do to be Nat and to gain it, then it's very tricky. I'd like to see him get some support, but I don't quite know. I don't know what that would be, and I think it's a terrifying time to be playing with like 2 hand size when I guess actually, like, if you're going down to 2 in hand, as long as you're not like core damaging yourself down to 2 in hand, then you're probably fine playing into like the decks that are running Keeling and things like that. But if you're kind of doing brain damage or core damage. But yeah, so we can run some tests on this and we'll see. So this, I instantly know that this hand I can kill myself very, very easily. So here we would go Patchwork, we'd install a 0, we'd install a Synthland patchworking any of these cards so that it goes down for free, and we do 2 core damage and we die. Bam, instant. There are obviously, if we don't get this exact combo in hand, then it can be a little bit trickier. So let's have a look at some other hands and see how we could do. Okay, so we're kind of assuming as well. Why is a great question. It's purely because there was a question on GLC and I wanted to know if I could make it. The Light the Fires are interesting here because we're kind of assuming that the Corp doesn't help us with our thing here. So if they don't put out a remote server, then we're assuming that we can't use this card. But that's fine. It's actually still kind of a useful thing to be able to install stuff for 1 credit in this deck. So with this hand, what we would do is we would draw 1. We would install a Savernius. We would run HQ or R&D, trashing these 4 cards. And then we'd install a Ghost Tongue. Boom. Done. Now, an important thing... Like, I don't know why I'm saying this, because this is almost like as if anyone's going to play this deck. An important thing is to note that some of these cards that do damage, for instance, this one, it says, when you install this hardware, suffer 1 core damage. No worries. Same with Synth Gland, suffer 2 core damage. Running Hot says an additional cost to play this event, suffer 1 core damage. So you can't core damage yourself to death with a Running Hot. Really important to know. But Running Hot is a really useful card in this deck anyway, because it does 1 damage, and it sometimes just gives us extra click. I assume that's asking about this deck. This is just a deck which is trying to literally do yourself enough net damage and core damage and meat damage to be gone on turn 1. Get the game done and over. So this is a slightly more interesting hand. So here we're probably going to try and like do something with Dadiana Chacon. So we'd install Dadiana. So now we need to get ourselves down to 0 credits. So like first click we'd play Running Hot and it would hit a card. Let's see what the most useful card for it to hit, like the worst card for it to hit in terms of what we wouldn't want is it to hit this. So let's say it hits that. So we've now got how many clicks? We've done 2, we've got 3, so we've got 5 clicks to maybe set off Dadiana. So I'd probably play a Blueberry Diesel here. We'd draw 2 cards. None of those cards are great. We'd put the moshing back and draw another card. Okay, this is fine. So now we can... Yeah, we'll have exactly... We're on 4 credits. So we can go install Light the Fire, play Katorga Breakout, and then Dadiana Chacon would fire, and we'd take 3 meat damage. Boom. I think, but with 98% chance, I think there's been like, including like the mulligans, there's only been like twice that I ran this and wasn't able to do enough damage to take myself out on turn 1. And I had some time to kill because I was on a plane back from Spain and just wanted to kind of, it was a fun puzzle to try and do. So, you know, we've got Basilos Implant, which is great. It's probably the best thing in the deck because it does 2 core damage, so we can really easily do it. Patchwork is amazing for getting cards out of our hand and helps a little bit with playing stuff for money. Ghost Dung does 1 core damage, which is pretty decent. Savernius Stim Plant is amazing. It can clear out our entire hand. 0 we can install for 1. And it's kind of can fight. Yeah, the goal is to lose turn 1, Diogene. It's like it's the kind of challenge which you really like, actually, like something which is definitely kind of just trying to use cards in different ways. So how quickly can we guarantee a loss? So yeah, this is an easy thing to install for 1, potentially draw us into other stuff that we need. Same with Light the Fire, and maybe if they do put out a remote, then we can use it to score a core damage, but we're assuming that they never do that. Dadiana Chacon is amazing. He does 3 meat damage. There's no better card. And then Mad Dash, we can Mad Dash Archives. We can even jack out just in case they've got an agenda in there, and do one last damage. Katorga Breakout's great for getting other stuff back. The ID is purely there because it's a 40 card deck, and I wanted to find the stuff as consistently as possible. You could play it in loop as well. It would make no difference. But yeah, salvaged Vandis Armory. It is a card. If people don't know this card, let's bring this up because do we want to have the remote chance of win? No. This deck isn't planning to win. Like this was purely an exercise to see if we could 100% of the time kill ourselves on turn 1. Done. There's no game of Netrunner here. We'll play some actual Netrunner in a second. But let's just find salvaged because that's a silly card. So I never got to play with this. I never, for a very brief time, it was legal in Eternal, and then they even banned it from Eternal. Diogene, by any means, is a good shout, but it's only good if they don't ice R&D and HQ. So like I didn't put it in the deck because potentially they ice both. This was, yeah, I think this was banned in about 2 weeks after it came out, and with fairly decent reason. So let's like zoom in a little bit. So this says it's a zero cost resource. It is unique, at least I guess. It was a clan resource. And it says the corp trashes the top X cards of R&D. X is the amount of damage you have suffered this turn. Use this ability immediately after having taken damage, which kind of sounds like it should be fine. Like it's funny. It's funny that like this is so broken, because you kind of read it and you go, yeah, that could be like slightly abused. But the problem was that you can. Oops, let's go back. If you have the right cards and you have things, particularly stuff which like I mean, it's running hot now, but whatever running hot used to be, like, which gives you clicks and does damage, you can mill the corp out on turn 2 using one of these cards. I'm pretty sure that was what was happening in Eternal, when they brought it back for a brief time, and people were just winning turn 2 by decking um, completely decking the court, which is kind of hilarious. So yeah, this would be the only reason to turn that deck, this silliness, into something that would maybe win. But even that, I mean, maybe here you could do something like that, and you put in free salvaged, and you probably win. Right, but let's talk about something slightly more serious. Bam. Finality is actually a pretty good shout, because that does a meet a core damage no matter what. That's probably a better finality. Is actually Diogenes. Finality is probably better than the Light of Fires. I should have remembered that. So we have news announced today. This came out today. I've skimmed over this, but I thought I would, leave my my reactions and all that fun stuff for stream. The preemptive banning of salvage proves the superiority of the UK meta. Was it something in the UK? Who else got a card banned so fast? Was it the UK? Was this like? Is there a UK link there? I don't know enough about the history of it. But I guess there was maybe some. Was there a tournament and it just went off the back of that? Because I imagine like that was immediately broken to all steady levels. But here we go. So this was put out today by Quick Scan to the bottom. Doesn't say who put out the thing today. It's just by the Null Signal gang, I guess. So it says, as the lights of the aurora recede in the horizon, we leave the frozen north behind and sail towards a new hemisphere. Welcome to Brazil, and welcome to the liberation cycle. So this is the third narrative cycle from Null Signal Games. Classic 2-set 65 cards each. And will be released in Q3 2023, which is probably not that far away. I mean, Q1 is till March, so then April, May, June. So yeah, we're kind of looking like maybe a few months, like July, maybe August. So that's quite exciting. This is like not a million miles off. So this mentions how Brazil has been a haven for androids of all kinds. We've got clones, biroids. Neither can be owned or sold, and all are emancipated upon crossing the borders into Brazil, instigated by the Order of Sol. Hey, that's a card. Grown strong in both social and political power, the laws that enshrine enshrine the rights of androids has been accepted and sat unchallenged for decades. So this is a big theme. If I remember correctly, they mentioned that there was going to be some real kind of they were going to delve into politics for this cycle. So that's pretty interesting. I have realised that I'm kind of covering this a little bit, but I'll move just a tad over here. So yeah, so we're definitely going to get some political stuff going in. And then it says, until now, a new law project or bill, decide, has just been introduced in both houses of the Brazilian parliament that would strip biroids of those very rights and protections. So this is really kind of delving into the political side of things. New laws, rights going out the window. Lost where I'm here. Skip to this bit. With this storm rising overhead, the status quo of the wealthy South American nation is being challenged by this very act, raising against the perennial question, what makes a person a person? What corporate machinations could be behind this? How would Jiteki and Hasbiroid respond? Which voices among the Brazilian people will rise up to answer these growing threats? Who knows? This is the set symbol, which is a cool little bird. This is the sort of national bird of Brazil, which is called a sabia or sabia. I'll wait for Ginevra to put out a guide on how to pronounce it. She's been doing fantastic work with those. Designed by David Prieto, who is a name that I definitely recognise. I think he's been working with the visual team for a while. So let's look at what we've got new stuff, or what little scoops that they've thrown in here. So when it comes to gameplay, the Liberation Cycle introduces a new mechanic which can be found on both Corp and Runner cards. So I assume that's a mechanic for Corp and Runner, but it does seem a little bit like it's the same mechanic for Corp and Runner. So maybe that would be really interesting if it is. I can't, I don't know how that would work, but that's exciting. A new concept for card design which enables power levels to scale as the game goes on and creates wild haymaker plays at crucial points in the match. This mechanic has proven to be such a natural fit to the tense ebb and flow of Netrunner that we believe it will become an evergreen part of the game. So this sounds like quite a big inclusion. Which is pretty interesting. The fact that it scales as the game goes on is interesting. Kind of, I assume, on both sides of the game. So for the Runner and for the Corp. And then Wild Haymaker plays is very much kind of June's whole point of what she wanted to make Netrunner be. Obviously, June has stepped down now because life has gone pretty crazy. I think she got a promotion somewhere. She's very, very busy now, but she's done a lot of the kind of overseeing of the design, I believe, on this set, and that was definitely something that she wanted to really introduce, was like more haymakers, more times where you can do a big swing the game in a big way. Quick catch up with chat here. Bring back Nazir. I mean, I'm gonna potentially talk about a different shaper. I'd love Nazir to come back. I mean, he was like one of the really, really interesting ones. Actually says, my prediction is something that scales out of the agendas that have been scored or stolen. So stock buyback mechanics. Potentially, hopefully not, unless does stock buyback rotate? I don't think it. I can't remember. But yeah, that's like a problematic card right now. Or I see it as being one. So it does also have, additionally, the cycle will feature lots of new connections, so you can build your revolutionary crew. So as players, cha-ching, do enjoy playing as, and the more connections, the better when it comes to him. Maybe some jobs as well. Why not throw in some jobs? A cycle of sysops that all share an ability. Stock buyback is rotating. That's good news. So let's pull up the sysops that we've had, and we can kind of have a look. They've generally been pretty mean cards in the past. We've got a Shaper Run event that targets HQ. I believe we've only had one Shaper Run event that targets HQ so far, which is Escher, which was a fantastic card. Obviously, we've got other kind of things which are in that space now, like Tau and the Cordyceps, which pressingly sees no play, but it's a really fun card. We have, and this is really, I find this very interesting. So we have a new 3-point agenda, sort of, for every court faction. Now, I find this fascinating because I know that Null Signal Games have said that they're moving away from 5/3s. So that suggests that these are not 5/3s. And I mean, it's clear that it's not just like a straight, this is worth 3 points. So this is kind of interesting. So maybe these agendas are kind of one of the things that scales through the game, so they become 3-point agendas. Maybe when you've scored other agendas, possibly. I don't know. This is maybe like one of the most like I want to know what that means. Yeah, maybe like 2-pointers that could potentially become 3-pointers. I mean, it kind of sounds a bit like a Beal, I guess. But it's just it sounds different, and I wonder what's going on here. And they have been, there's been a lot of experimentation from Null Signal Games recently with agendas. We've seen a lot of like X advancement agendas, things like that, agendas which get less advancement requirements and things like that. So they've definitely, that's been a big kind of feature of space that they've been exploring. So I'm kind of really interested to see what comes from that. We have 3 new weapons. Boom. Everyone likes weapons. Give criminals some more guns and stuff. We also means that you can maybe play your what's his face deck. That guy. The guy I can't remember the name of. But pull your viruses and weapons. Chris is suggesting that they have the inevitable 7/10. That would be, yeah. I mean, I'd assume not because they did ban government takeover, but why not? Hey, maybe it would be like a 7/12. And then we have the first Biroid Corp card outside of HB. Very interesting. And the first card with both the clone and Biroid subtypes. So this, let's look at this second bit first. The first card with both the clone and Biroid subtypes. So this, to me, if I think of clones and Biroids hanging out in the same servers, then it's Caprice, Nisei, and Ash in one server, which is horrendous to deal with. This is both of those in the same card. Obviously, it's not those cards, but that's kind of interesting. So there's definitely, we've already seen the mention earlier, like about HB and Jinteki clearly having like big problems with these political issues. So is this Jinteki and Hasbiroid kind of coming together? Because if it's a clone and a Biroid, it's kind of got to be both of them, right? Maybe. The first Biroid Corp card out of HP is fascinating. It potentially means it's really interesting in terms of where it goes. I kind of hope, and I'm a bit worried based on like what I've just said. I kind of hope that it's not in Jinteki because we don't need any more things for Loki Ag Infusion to be able to Loki, or to be able to do with their what's the guy? Man, why can I never remember this stuff? The thing that stops you breaking Biroids, which I just thought it was like Loki as Ag Infusion, but it's the specific lever card. But I think that could be really interesting if it's in Wayland, then it could be really interesting in Ob. But yeah, this is fascinating. Biroid Corp card outside of HB is really interesting. And then we've got a little production status kind of bit of pieces. So it's been pushed back to Q3, but that sounds like they've kind of got it back. The entire cycle has also been concept locked. So they got a general idea of what each card will do. That's a good sign. And then obviously when this becomes legal, then there's going to be a rotation, and the Flashpoint cycle and Data and Destiny will no longer be standard legal. So that's going to be like pretty massive. And I know that like lots of people have talked about it, but it means that we kind of lose the bin breakers. It means that we lose hard hitting news. There's some big cards in that cycle. Like the bin breakers going just tears up Anarch. I mean, they're going to survive. They'll be absolutely fine. They've got lots of other options. But I'm kind of looking forward to it because I'm kind of looking forward to seeing like interesting choices in terms of what Anarchs end up using. And unfortunately, I guess like breaker sets, like it's never an interesting choice because everyone works out what the most efficient breaker set is and then will just use that until those cards are not available anymore. But maybe we're back to kind of seeing Anarchs run Leech. Obviously, like there's Turbine, but it'll be I think maybe Simulchip will become like a big Anarch card again, as it has been in the past. But yeah, it's kind of fascinating. And I very quickly need to turn on this plug down here because I've plugged in my laptop and not plugged it in and not turned it on. I'm going to be 2 seconds. Bam. Okay. So, what do we think of this? This is pretty interesting. I mean, I think there's some interesting stuff here. I think last time they put out little teasers like this. What are we gonna get? And to be fair, like most of them kind of delivered. Analyze the rave picture. I guess that's this one down here. Okay. So Phil, are you suggesting that there's stuff going on in here, or do we just need like a better look? I mean, this looks like a big old Brazilian rave up to me. We've got lasers going on, obviously. There's potentially someone like with a hammer here. Could be Edward Kim like partying away with Lou in oh, I thought they were lasering drones at a riot. Maybe. I mean, this looks like an explosion down here in the kind of the bottom bit. But I'd say it's probably just a party, right? It's like everyone having a big old party at Brazilian version of Wildside, something like that. Anyway, this is cool art. To be fair, I quite want that on like a mat. So if you could just sort that out, NSG, that'd be great. Also, like this kind of green is not something that we see that often in terms of the color palette. Looks like a virtual resource location. Yeah, whether it actually turns out to be sort of a card, it probably is a location. It's probably a runner card if it is. It could be virtual, couldn't it? It could be like an online. It's an online rave. Like all of these are. I mean, I guess all of these are probably Biroids and clones, or both, or either, because that's the whole idea of the set. So maybe this is like an online club where they plug in to go party. I might have missed a couple of things here. I look forward to the next rotation. Hope it will be able to find people interested in playing old school classic FFG Netrunner. First 4 cycles and big boxes. As in, you want. That's an intro. I'm unsure what that means. Wouldn't. I mean, I enjoyed sort of old school FFG Netrunner, but because I came in quite late, like I came in at the Katara cycle, so I don't have a massive amount of like love for all the old cards because it's not like I miss them so much. Anyway, let's build a deck. This is the idea which I have come up with. It is not a good idea, but it is an idea. Oh, and by the way, if you're watching this now, particularly if you're watching it on VOD, then after you watch this, obviously finish watching this first. Go and watch the Slee stream from last week. That was the most fun I had for a long time. Like this was an absolute blast to play this deck. I have changed it slightly since, I think. I've sleeved it up to take it to play Meat Space Netrunner, but unfortunately we couldn't make it last week. But yeah, that was absolute fun. Right. So let's just have a little look at what's going on here. I might need to zoom in a bit, just because it's quite small on the old JNet site. So this is the idea. I want to try and kill a runner with Saisentan. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to res one, possibly on the outside in Ag Infusion, somewhat dependent on whether they're playing Hippo or not. And then at some point, we're going to have a quarantine system in a remote, and we're going to use this to forfeit one of these agendas that we score from hand and res a half run that is in front or behind of the Saisentan, stopping them from breaking the Saisentans. Now, if you think, yes, Axu, what the F is quarantine system? That's a really good question. So yeah, this is a card which is basically a Jemison card, because it has the words forfeit an agenda on it. But it's the only way that I think there is currently to res a piece of ice that we choose, at least, like at a timing window which isn't when the runner comes into it. And I was kind of thinking about half run, and I was mainly thinking about like our Slee deck from last week, and I was like, right, how else can we abuse half run? And I was like, well, can we make a lethal ice fire. And then I had to think about, well, what is lethal ice nowadays? And I think Saisentan is probably the only one which has a decent chance of killing the runner, because it possibly can do 6 damage. We can possibly score out like product Kusanagi with a counter and make it do even more damage, but we'll kind of see. So this is what we're going to try and build. It's kind of feels a bit dumb, but we're going to try and at least get like one runner with our silly combo. So we should probably start out with some other agendas, and I think we're going to be playing over Carter because it's good and it protects itself. Add signal jamming. Is that still legal? That's actually not a bad shout, because one of the things which I was very specifically on that, sir. I'm going to put one of these in for now, and I'm going to consider it because I actually think that might be an interesting card. Because one of the problems we actually have with Hafren is that if they have 2 MK Ultras in the bin, then they can install a second MK Ultra. And then our Hafren does nothing. I mean, that's like also if they have like a steel skin in hand. Like, there's a lot of ways that this doesn't go off. But this, I kind of like. So I'm going to stick one of them in there for now, and we'll see. Oh, and we're playing free Thimble Rig because this is very dependent on ice placement in terms of where all this stuff is. So Thimble Rig, I think, is going to be like, it's literally, I think, the third, maybe the fourth card I put in this deck. I was like, Quarantine System, Hafren, Saisentan, that's my combo, and then I put in free Thimble Rigs. And then we obviously needed to score some agendas because of Quarantine System. So that's why the Kusanagis are in here. That's why the hybrid releases are in here. And then, yeah, we're going to play oboes, and I think we're going to play sender messages. Because money is probably going to be an issue. I think. So the interesting thing here is that like Anansi is not the best card because it's quite hard to kill someone off an Anansi. But I guess it's just as good as almost anything else. Like, we could play Melinzies, which are like a bit nastier if they fire. Oh, we should put in some standard stuff first. Anyway, let's put in free spin doctors. Let's put in. If anyone else, by the way, can think of like if there's like a really nasty ice, which we should be including. We're like a bit jammed up with influence because we've already got 2 of these, which is 8 spin doctors. That takes us to 11. We could play like 1. The thing is, it really needs to kind of win the game for it to be worth it, which is, I think, Saisentan's about the only thing which can do that. But anyway, we're going to play some Nancy's because they are good cards. I think we just play 2 for now. We're putting 3. And then we play DNA trackers. Probably just 2. Do we play a Chiashi? Maybe, because Chiashi is 4 damage. Chiashi is actually... I mean, I don't know how I'm going to res it. We're already at 16 ice. And I haven't even put in an enemies yet. Which kind of feel pretty good. Because also... and then... oh, me. Particularly as... There's also... so maybe we're going to take out some of our good ice and play some bad ideas. Yeah, NGO fronts, we're going to definitely need money. I'm also I'm a bit worried about I'm a bit worried about our server getting jammed up with quality, which is probably going to happen. And I think we might need to create a second server to start scoring out of, which feels pretty bad, unless we just hope to get this all to fire off centrals. Okay, so there is something else we could do here. Maybe we need like more than one prong of attack. We could play data loops, and then we've always got the like after they run. So once they encounter the data loop, then we quarantine system to res an enemy that's behind it or in front of it. Does that work? So they encounter this. Is there a paid ability window there is the question. Like between them encountering it, having to put cards away, or can they just end the run at that point? Not totally sure about the... I'm not sure. Anyway, I think I definitely want an enemies, because these are good things to like surprise res. So maybe we get rid of data loops, because I'm not sure about where the... Yeah, I don't think there is either. Cagola... You're going to have to tell me how to say this at some point, by the way. Cagola scab? Cagola... No, I'm not going to try. So this is already 18 ice. That's a lot of ice. So maybe we drop... I'm going to drop 1 and Nancy, because I think like our Saisentans are like more what I want to res. And I guess I drop 1 DNA tracker. We've got... These are all... I guess I drop 1... It's either one DNA or I drop 1 Chiashi. Chiashi technically does more damage. So I'm going to... But DNA tracker is actually resable. Okay, I'm going to drop the Chiashi. I'm going to drop to 1 Chiashi. 16 ice. It's probably enough. Like, we can always go up to 1 more. So we definitely need some money. We're going to play hedge funds. I think we want like more stuff that we can play from hand, which is why I'm a bit worried about the regoliths. I am going to play NGOs. And then kind of we need some divert powers, because we probably have to, at some point, if we ever want this to go off more than once, we have to divert our Hafrans back down, and potentially... Oh, this isn't just on res. Okay, that's good to know. I thought this was only when you resed it you got to do the stuff, but it's not. It's always available there. So that's interesting. So yeah, I think we do still want divert powers. We've got an enemies. They're good with an enemies. They're good with Hafrans. And we can potentially res our stuff with them. Rashida, we probably do want Rashida. I've heard it's a good card. But if we are playing Rashida, so this is where like I think we either play Rashida or we play Regolith. Rashida is faster, gets us off stuff quicker. Yeah, I think it's that. Okay, we've got like 5 cards left. We've got some influence. We could play ganked. Like, that could actually be a win. I'm not sure how we're protecting this quarantine system and scoring out. I haven't worked that out yet, so maybe that's later. Maybe we have to play. Maybe we have to play like Blood in the Waters so that we can actually have a scoring plan. It's going to make us very agenda heavy. Like we're already at 11 agendas. So is there anything else we can do with these agendas? Do we play an archer? I mean, we've got a lot of things that we're needing to forfeit then. Or like a Typhonium. Typhonium's pretty mean. Ganked is always fun. I think we're going to play Ganked. It's whether we play like 1 or 2. I don't think Musashi is, because I don't think we're kind of going to have a scoring agenda of any kind. A scoring server even. I mean, we might end up with one. So we play 2 Ganked. We could play a copy of. We could play a copy of Archer. If Archer fires against a criminal, we probably win the game. I feel like Anarchs are going to be our hardest option. I guess Archer is like really hard for Anarchs to break, so maybe that's also worth something. Because yeah, I think it's going to be very hard to kill the Anarchs in the first place. I think we just need more money now. I think probably Hands Eyes. And that's a deck. Seems all right. Kind of like this signal jamming. I think this is actually like kind of quite interesting. I wonder if this is a card that we should play around more. Play around with more maybe next week. That looks like a deck, doesn't it? Let's see how it does. Basically, I think this is very much a one-shot pony, and either we get a runner to run into our Saisentans or we don't. Streaming. It is definitely a deck. It is. I would go as far as to say it is one of the decks of all time. Let's pop me back there. Oh, it's very dark today, isn't it? You actually see me? Maybe that's a good thing. Been at work all day. Normally have different lighting in here. Anyway. So while we're waiting for a game, what do people want from the new cycle? What are you hoping for? Are you hoping for like, I don't know, something that makes Shaper good but isn't good in other factions? Because that would be nice. Maybe they could give like Shaper good cards but make them cost 10 influence and see if they're played then. That could be fun. Because I'm not totally sure what I'm hoping to get from it. I mean, I'm normally just after more cards that I can build silly stuff with. So any more cards would be good. New BP Ice, so outfit still is functional. We do lose BP Ice, don't we? What do we lose? We lose Bulwark. It does make the outfit rush decks a bit trickier. Like, would that leave them with only 3 bad pub ice? Just the trebuchets, right? So then they've got trebuchets, hostiles, and too big to fails. Which is probably still enough. but like it really changes their ice suite. I wonder what they. I mean, I guess there's maybe something big that comes, but instead. But yeah, I don't know what they'd play. I mean, maybe they just have to completely change their kind of the style of their decks, but losing Bulwark at the same time as losing Paperclip's really interesting as well, because without Bulwark or without Paperclip, Bulwark actually becomes really nasty to break. Like, it doesn't matter if you've got a turbine down. If you've got two turbines down, then maybe you're getting there. Chris wants tag payoff cards. Like single tag, because like multiple tag is going to be very tricky now, I would imagine, unless you're trashing your entire board for a like mutual thing. I mean, tag me goes as well, which is interesting because Obolus rotates. So the whole like tags is maybe actually, sorry Chris, I'm going off on a tangent here, but tags is maybe one of the most interesting things which is going to change with rotation, because the way that corpse and runners interact with tags is going to change on both sides. Like, is public trail a threat? Not really. I think it still would be, because I think Kildex, I mean, I would imagine Kildex would switch to playing like multiple end of the lines, and you'd go for like the old version. A reprint of Street Magic would be wicked. I love Street Magic. Okay, we don't want a quarantine system yet. We're playing it Smoke. Our signal jamming is going to be sick if we can pull it off. So I'm going to mulligan this because I don't. Oh, that is much worse. Okay, let's hope this is a Smoke that wants to sit back and set up. I think I'm going to. How defensive do we play turn one? Because I kind of want to jam this Rashida. But I can't. I just can't lose two sender messages turn one. Right, let's draw one. Okay. Right. Thimbleweed's going down on HQ. Chris, I just want to hear about tags. I really like the mechanic. I think tags is a really interesting mechanic. And are we saying that boom goes? Does boom rotate out? Because I think if boom rotates out, then tags become a lot more interesting. Because inevitably, for the last however long, decks that tag you attacking you so that they can play a boom. Okay, we have a Saisentan. They are smoke, so they'll have after image, so they completely shut down our combo, I think, because because they don't break it, they bypass it. Oh, rubbish. This is fine. It's absolutely fine. We're gonna get them with a DNA tracker or something. It'll be great. So yeah, boom going is really that's almost more interesting than hard hitting news going in terms of that side, I think. Okay, if they run here, they can break it because they are already at strength. Okay, there. No, I've realised this is fine. We've got a single signal jamming, and we're gonna get completely set up before they install anything. Right? Probably. Kind of wonder if they run here. Fimblerig will res. do want them to go through here because okay, this is actually fine. They're gonna steal or send a message, which is bad. We're gonna res a Saisentan for free, which is also probably bad because then they know exactly what it is. Okay, and they're on a turbine rig. Do we want to swap this here? Definitely not. Oh my word. They missed. Okay. Sometimes that happens. Alright, last click diesel. They throw out a DJ Fenris. Wow, what is in their hand that they want to hold on to? That's interesting. Okay. Do we want to swap this? Nope. Woo! Okay, we have our one copy of Signal Jamming. This is going to be fine. We're going to win this off the Signal Jamming. I can't remember who said to put it in, but it was a great shout. First of all, we need to sort out this agenda flood. We're going to put this in here. We could always double Saisentan them so that they can't bypass both. It's an option. Anyway, for now, we're just going to throw out some agendas. Yeah, signal jamming is potentially going to win us this game, and it might be our best out. So, yeah. We're not going to swap that. Not that. They see the half front again. Are they going to are they deep diving us? I feel like they're deep diving us. I think we're going to get deep divin. Deep dove. We do indeed. Right, the important thing here is to know what they've seen. So I don't think so. They haven't seen this. They've seen some surprising stuff for Ag Infusion to be playing. They're seeing Kusanagi's and they've seen a hybrid release, which I assume is what they steal here. So that's potentially going to make them a little bit suspicious, or it's going to make them think that we've accidentally put our PE deck into. No, we won't swap. Okay, I think. Oh, do I want to score this yet? I think this goes on R&D, and then I think we're just going to go for money. Thing is, I do. Oh, well, it's a bit too late to score that out now. Unless I put it in the server. Could put it in the server. And then I can over advance it next turn. I do actually have enough money right now. And take a credit. Or we put the Hafron here. Let's set up for the for the kill. So we've kind of got we've got everything that we need. Like somehow we found everything that we need. We have one half run, we have one Saisentan, we have a signal jamming so that they can't install their killer. And we have our quarantine system in hand. Is this just where they run this Saisentan and we signal jamming them? I think it might be. This is going to be wild if this wins us a game. Oh, no! Oh, it was in hand. Okay. So now we need double Saisentans. Oh, this is really hard now. Or yeah, because they won't even bypass it. We can put an Anansi in front, but they're not going to bypass an Anansi. Okay. No. Maybe we can get them with a Chiashi? I think actually what I should have done here is massively over advance this Kusanagi. I guess they can get in through. They couldn't have got in this turn. Like, if I'd have given this 3 counters, then we could maybe do something with like a DNA tracker. I think that was a way better option. I think that's what I should have done. The question here is, do we actually just score out an Obokata? Because I think they kind of can't afford to get through here. We're not gonna do that. Do we need the money? I'm just gonna try and score out the oboe because I want to pressure them. I'd have much preferred this to be a send a message so that it advances us a little bit. Deuces. So we do get this Saisentan off, then we're gonna call event. The annoying thing is that they don't need to boost. Okay, I guess right at this very moment, they don't have 2 stealth credits. Now they're gonna have 2 stealth credits very soon. So maybe oh, we definitely res it because it will cost them money. Now I'm gonna wish that I was pushing this NGO front. We'll call event. Unfortunately, this costs them 2 credits to get through because after image breaks up to 2 subs. But what we might do... no, I don't want to lose it so quickly. So I think I'm just going to NGO front for money next turn. And then... Is this fine? I think this is fine, right? They can't steal the OVO. Unfortunately, they're going to trash our signal jamming, but they've got, like, everything they need now. So... there's maybe a rush deck potential with, like, half runs and signal jammings. Is this for the rest of the turn? No, just for run. I think we just let them in here. They have 2... There's a chance that they pull out an imp. Well, our signal jamming goes down. But I think that's okay because I think it wasn't going to do anything for us anymore. Now that they've got this down and this down. Gets Buzzsaw until they get a turbine. Even after they get a turbine, they still have to boost once, right? Still 5 credits to get through DNA tracker. And it's 1,000,000 credits to get through one before they get a Buzzsaw down. So the question is, next turn, are they going to try and run this? Because if so, then we can install advance, and then we can put out the quarantine system just in a naked remote, and then we might just get them. Maybe. So we... I think they're going to go and try and get it. So we'll just put this out here. They're quite poor. And there's just a chance. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's always a chance, right? I mean, if they have 6 cards in, but they're gonna have like a load of cards in hand when they go in because they're about to steal an ovo. We can't kill them through 6 cards. We can do 6 net damage though, which is like we can get the if we can just get the combo to go off. Okay, we're down to 5. We now okay, but they do have a net marker down, so we now have to do something very fast. Nope. We will, I think, just score out this oboe. As much as I'd like to keep it there. We've got 5 credits here. The best thing about quarantine system as well is that we res our ice for kind of free. So they might even... Well, they're not going to now. The problem is now they're going to have 2 credits. Now they're going to have 2 whatever call it. 2 stealth credits. So now our Saisentans dreams are a little bit up in, ironically, smoke. So, getting them with a Chiashi is, I think, plan B. Or we tax out their stealth credits somehow. It's probably not going to happen. They might check both of these. This looks like a spin doctor. I think next turn we like credit advance if they don't run this, and then put an Anansi here. Okay. Oh, it's still got a click. Fine. So if there is a chance that we can get them to a point where they only have 1 credit, but they need to make runs like this, which are like technically a little bit risky. I think I need the Hafren on the, I need the Saisentan on the outside, unfortunately. So I might have to start doing some serious thimble rigging. We will. Maybe we can get him with an Anansi plus a Kusanagi. That's like 4 damage. They draw like it's 4. It's 5 damage, and they get to draw 1. Okay, divert power is a card, so we're going to gain a credit. We're going to advance this once, which I can't do because I've put the chat in the way. There might be, I think there might be a play here with an Anansi. And I wish I should have advanced this Kusanagi more. because how many anemones? There's only 2 anemones in the deck. It's the fact that they bypass it. Oh, they wouldn't. Yeah, the Kusanagi wouldn't do extra damage, would it? Because they still bypassing it. But maybe we can just like force them to bypass Anansi's and that do enough damage. I mean, they've only got 40 cards, right? They're already kind of halfway through their deck. They have less cards now, but they are on game point. So, and we have seen them that they have deep dives, which means I actually really need to put an ice. I need to put some ice somewhere. Okay. Let's not swamp Thimble Rig. We're gonna get some money. Thing is, I need to still be able to res this. So I think we put the. I think we just put the half run. I think we put the half run in front of here. We take a credit because I want to start thimble rigging this around so that I can get it all into the right place. It's going to take a few turns, unfortunately. And then I think we ice R&D archives even, just so that maybe we put a Chiashi on archives. There's a chance that if we get a bit more money, we can res it using a divert power. Or if they happen to run it, we can maybe res it using a quarantine system and like get them. But we are hoping, we're really hoping for a misplay now. Ah, that's going to make it even harder to kill him. But at least we know to call event. I probably was going to be calling event anyway with our Saisentans, but now they're going to draw a card when we do damage. So this could have just become kind of a grinder deck. Oh dear. And we only have one Obercarter left, which is pretty bad for grinder decks. Okay, could we get some money, please? So yes, this is going here, and then we can swap these up. That's money. I think this looks so much like an NGO front. It's hilarious. But we'll do it anyway. Yeah, I actually want to be jamming this behind an Anansi. So maybe I should have swapped these. It's hard to know. Okay. They have exactly 2 stealth credits. So we just don't res anything here because it's not worth it, unfortunately. Oh. So if they didn't have an after image, we potentially win the game there. We would actually have no. Actually, we probably don't. Actually, we definitely don't because they've got 5 cards in hand. We might do 6 net damage though, like which is gonna feel pretty good. Pop in the SMC. This is interesting. So I assume they're getting a mantle here. I don't have much money for anything else. I think this Chiashi is going to be like the way that we do stuff here. Getting down their cleaver. They're not going to be able to afford to break a Chiachi for a long time. So maybe we're just going to try and score out behind a Chiachi. So we're going to go with like moving the thimble rig to here and then swapping it with a Chiachi. Yes, we'll put the thimble rig here. We'll put the Rashida in the remote. We maybe could have rushed behind the Hafren, thinking about it, because they only had one breaker down. Or a Hafren is just a run, isn't it? So maybe not. Do we put out the anemone as well? Do we use the Rashida and this thimble rig? Don't want to res this quarantine system. I'm just wondering if I can res this Chiashi for cheap. And then they probably can't run the Rashida because we bounce them into it. I think that might be an option. I haven't done the maths here, but it is. I'm just going to do this. We'll res this. We'll play this. We'll de-res both of those. I guess we might as well de-res the Saisentan. It's like pretty pointless right now. Yeah, we've still got like loads of money there, and then we'll just take credit so that we can res the Anansi that's in front of us. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Axu. It is a shame, like when you immediately run into a run of it, kind of defeats the combo. But I think that's part of the fun of playing it. Like, I kind of like the thing of like I thought about all sorts of things which this deck is gonna lose to. I didn't think about the fact that it would lose to After Image because, like, I think that's Netrunner, isn't it? You literally can't win to everything. Oh my word, look at all these agendas. Oh, now oh, sorry, I hit that really hard. Now our thimble rig isn't res, so I can't move stuff around anymore. Whoops. So I could bait them with a hybrid release, but I also might need the hybrid release to score. We can throw them into this Chiashi. We kind of know they can't get through, but then what do we do? The thimble rig, if it was on the outside, would be much better. So maybe we have to put another thimble rig here, and then we can maybe bait them in. If they run HQ, we are boned. I guess we put the anemone there is another option. We're just going to assume that they won't run HQ. They're not going to. It's fine. If they do run HQ, oh my word. Okay, we've actually got a play. If they run HQ, then we can res this Hafrun to trash this send a message from hand. Like, in a purely defensive stance. How much does it actually cost them to break this Chiashi? Like, quite a lot. I mean, we're definitely throwing them into it. It's what we use to throw them into it with. Do we throw them into it with the Hafren? Or do we throw them into it with the thimble rig? I think we throw them into it with the thimble rig. And then if they run back, then we anemone them. So here we'll boop them over here. Unfortunately, Anakam is going to fire. Hadn't considered that. Could be an issue. So they are still going to have, like, they're not going to die. Wow, did they have because I didn't put Fimbulrig there. I put an anemone there. And maybe Fimbulrig would have been better. But I thought that if we booped them here... Wow, they actually had enough money. That's wild. There's nothing in here, right? So next turn we'd probably double advance and put the Fimbulrig there. Because they are very poor now. Maybe we can just win by like playing Netrunner. Fimbulrig on the outside seems good. Then we can res this. We can still boop them with probably the Haffron. Maybe we should have just scored the hybrid release out of hand. If they hadn't gone through, then we definitely should have scored the hybrid release out of hand because we could have put the ice back using it. Hybrid release and Ag Fusion. Very good combo. Okay. We get to score this, send a message. What do we res with it? We res this and Nancy. Feels decent. Or do we res a Fimbulrig? Do we actually need to move stuff around here? I think I'm like really tempted to res a Fimbulrig. How bad is that? Because then we can like maybe do some stuff. But I think we probably have to res the Nancy. If we res the Nancy, it kind of doesn't do anything now. Because they boost once, they break. So maybe we score out this hybrid release, kind of forcing the issue. And then hope that we've got enough tricks here for next turn. We can boop once. We could Fimbulrig. Oh, we'd like want another piece of ice. I kind of like this DNA tracker is the one thing which they can't, which we can actually use so they can't break it. I don't think we've got quite enough tricks. Do we just score out this send a message because we lose if we don't? Okay, as long as they don't run our hand, then we're all right. We can win next turn. If Haffron wasn't both Barrier and Kogate here, we'd actually have potentially a play. Because no, we don't. No, we wouldn't. We'd be able to stop them like once. Oh my word, we're gonna win by scoring out. Maybe. Maybe. I mean, the Sands. Oh dear. How many clicks do they have left? Okay, they're going R&D. This is great news. Can we? No, we don't have a Haffron here. We nearly had the like, but they have a million cards in hand. It doesn't really matter. We're not going to res any of this. We need to be able to res this Haffron to at least trash for send a message. Um, okay. Oh my gosh. Yeah, okay, we won. It wasn't in the fashion that we kind of wanted. Oh, they don't have clock lock, do they? No. No. Swish. See, sometimes Ag Infusion is just good enough, right? Um, yeah, like it's just taxing. Um, if you don't have good money, you can't run against even with their ridiculous breaker sort of thing going here. I don't know how much it cost them to get through the Chiashi, but I think it was like 6 still, and that's with what should be the most efficient breaker set in the game. So that feels pretty good. Let's just put up a new game. I don't want to join other people's games because I feel bad. Twitch. Oh, streaming. Okay, yeah. Axie saying it seems illegal to score out with this deck. 100%. Uh, this is not a deck that has any right in scoring out at all. Let's just move my face for a second. Um, but there we go. It kind of sometimes it just happens, right? Oh, nice. Okay. We have Lat. Lat can also be quite tricky to kill. We definitely don't want 2 quarantine systems. Although, again, I really like the signal jamming into a shaper matchup feels really good. Okay. This seems like fine. I think we probably like draw once. We probably hands eye away a DNA tracker because their shaper actually like shaper early decoder's not that good right now. But we kind of want the rest of these things. Or we go for it and we hands eye away the overcarter. How risky is that? Quite risky. I think we do that. Can we draw once more if we do that? No, this takes us to 5. So we're gonna play the like risky route. And we'll put this here. I don't know about signal jamming and divert power because I don't think you ever want to show that signal jamming. So resing it just to get the cheaper divert power, I think is probably a mistake. And it's like it's not a res thing, it's a trashable thing. I mean, I kind of wonder if there's something that we could do in HB as well. Like HB, if we can fire something like a next diamond, then although like influence is not going to happen, is it? Ooh, environmental testing deck. DZMZ. Been a while since I've seen one of those around. Okay, what do we jam the Rashida behind? Probably the other DNA tracker, I think. I think we can safely do this. Unfortunately, they don't have credits to lose right now, which is a shame. Actually makes DNA Tracker much weaker. Maybe I should have just jammed it behind the enemy. We've got a bit of a lower hand size as well, which is actually good. I mean, we're going to pop up with Rashid next turn, so. Hello? Wow, we're playing. I mean, now the environmental testing makes sense. So we're playing customized secretary. This is not a card I've seen for a long time. They're on equivocation. Wild. I'm into it though. Okay, let's kind of want to draw into a spin doctor sometime soon. Okay, we've got our Saisentan and we have a Hafren. They can't break those things yet. So let's... Which way round do we want to do this? We probably want to put the Saisentans on the outside. So I think we go Hafren. The other thing is, do we do this in a new server and then we use this to protect? That seems a bit wild. That seems a bit wild. Maybe we can just... They don't have Hippo, they're Shaper, so maybe we can just kind of force them to res a site. Then we have to res one. Maybe that's not as hard as I think. So I'm just going to protect HQ, I think, then. And then, at worst, we'll, like, divert power this Saisentan to res it, or we'll score out a send a message. Kind of risking it with this oboe, not gonna lie. Okay, they have like lots of clicks. We have a lot of our combo going on. We just don't have an agenda. Right, I'm gonna plonk this in here. And then next turn, if they don't run this, I'm gonna use it as a divert power to get this Saisentan rezzed. Because then we've got the like boop in Saisentans, res the Hafren, fret. I mean, we have to jump through some more hoops first. Showing signal jamming is such a power move that the other player will never run the remote. Maybe. It's certainly a power move. Okay, they gain like 1 billion credits off environmental testing. What they do? Oh, DZMCs make a lot of sense as well now. One of this customized secretary pulled the third customized secretary. They're going to need some more MU before too long. But check out another Beth. Okay, so they are probably on... And a Black Orchestra. Wow. Check out this deck. Oh, they're on Bin Breakers. It's another thing which ruins our combo. Okay, that's ideal. So let's put that out. We'll res it. We'll res this. We'll divert power. To res a Saisentan. And then last click, I think we probably just Hands Eye Review, possibly the Spin Doctor to get it back in. Okay, so they assume we're on Loki. We're not. I think we can trash this here. I mean, I would assume that, especially if we start building like a second remote, I would assume we're on Loki. And, potentially that's a better combo because it protects itself and everything else. Obviously, it's a better combo, but, we're here to do new stuff. Untested jank. My chat's done the thing where it's disappeared again, so I'm just going to try and get it back. If you wrote anything in the last 2 minutes, then just shout at me a second. We have a conduit. Could be scary. We really need to score an agenda like very, very soon. Hopefully we pull one off the Spin Doctor. Come on. Start turn. Oh, lag. Oh no. What's happened? What's happened? Come on, JNet. Come on, JNet. Test. I think. Let's give it the old reset. No! Don't freeze on me! Oh. Oh, something freaky's happening. Because it's not even letting me leave the game, which is a really bad sign because I know now if I refresh, it will jam me out of the game. Oh. I'm going to try it, but I know every time this never works. Oh, it is letting me back in though. It is letting me back in. Okay. So you're saying there's a chance. Oh, I love it. They're checking all the things that they think we might be up to. Yes. Okay. Okay, that's really good for us. And we even get to put this anemone out using the hybrid release. So thinking, sorry, DC'd. Oh, but I've lost chat again. Oh, there we go. Okay. Right. Where do we want to put this anemone? Probably just on the remote. There's a chance that we want to put it on R&D because this conduit could get quite scary at some point. Ironically, if we'd trashed the quarantine system... Oh, just standard good stuff. Ag infusion. Probably. Okay, so we'll put this out here. Maybe we should have put the oboe in here actually. No, because we need to put the quarantine system in there. So we'll put the anemone. Do we build a new remote? Probably not with an enemy. So let's put it. So let's put it in enemy. Yeah, no, we are going to put it on a new remote. So we're going to put the quarantine system in here. We're going to put the Nancy here. And then we're going to score out in this server. That's our plan. Or something like that, anyway. They're running Spin Doctor. Makes sense. We will draw into a lot of agendas. Which is that fine? I guess that's fine. What's most useful here? I think it might be the divert power. So that's what I'm going to bring back. It's also the shiftiest card in our deck. Is Maven still in rotation? That's actually what I thought this was when they installed a customized secretary. And I wonder if they're on Maven. Wow, they're a wasteland. I feel like they're probably on Aesops. I mean, this really makes it think that they're on Aesops, but customized secretary is like a thing that you can Aesops. Okay. Oh, we've got another Saisentan. Okay, so they're checking for Chiashi. So we'll res and pop this. We're going to put this in this server. Oh, shall we go for the big Kusanagi play? Or shall we just try and win the game? I feel like this turn we go for the big Kusanagi. Because we can get 2 counters on this. And then we can make a really nasty Saisentans. And we haven't seen... we do ironically want to find our signal jamming now. Big Kusanagi is more fun, 100%. Also, we scored out last game, so boring. Let's try and be silly. All right, they're going to get a pantograph trigger. It's a shame. They're on technical writer, makes sense. Look at their deck. And a second propeller also kind of makes sense with the amount of programs that they're installing. This worries me because it suggests they might be on MK Ultra. And that wrecks us a little bit. Oh, we found our signal jamming. Okay, so we just stick Nos on HQ now. Right. And then how big a Kusanagi do we go for? Do we go like second counter big? I think we do. I think we're going to advance this once, and then we're going to put the Anansi in front of it. And then next turn, we're going to score out a Kusanagi with... Oh, 3 counters. Do we want to be that greedy? Hi, Seabass. How you doing? Yeah, so the first thing you hear is big Kusanagi. That's because that's what we're like going for in it. Like we're actually going to try and score this out with counters. We also have this in our deck. You might find out why in a second. Yeah, we're gonna try and do something fun with a Saisentan, and we could get to a point where it's actually going to go off this game. I feel like this is the game. I feel like we're very well set up for it all to happen. We are against Lat, which is it makes it a bit trickier because they're going to have a hand size of 6. So I think the huge Kusanagi is going to be like quite key here. They're drawing like crazy. What are they looking for? They're looking for an MK Ultra, I assume, or whatever their killer is. This is kind of nuts. You don't want to be throwing out this many cards against Jinteki, but they clearly need to find something. I mean, we are threatening to like be on game point with this. Right, what do they throw out? They throw out DZMZ. more bin breakers. So I feel like they're on like the like Aesop's recursion engine kind of dealio, where you install your breakers for free and then you sell them for big profit with this, which means they are on MK Ultra, which means that this signal jamming is again going to be the key, absolute key card. Right, let's just check that we have got everything that we need here. Yes, we have. So we're gonna score out this. They get a pantograph trigger. France are already confused about what's going on and trying to work out this is not going to help, apart from knowing that there's something up. Okay, Buzzsaw as well. This is quite wild in terms of. So I think we can safely assume that they're a turbine deck. No SMC so far though. Look at that wasteland triggering off the daily cast. A lot of money. And they still look like they're searching for their killer. Think I would concede the match. Nothing is worth getting on some jank highlight reel. I think everything's worth getting on that highlight reel. Okay, this is the Kusanagi could be great for pulling them through the server if they don't run here, because they kind of have to run the next card, which is install double advanced. I think a jank highlight reel is like best thing you could possibly be on. Okay, they're gonna have like 1,000,000 credits. Luckily, we maybe don't care about them having 1,000,000 credits. So the big question is, do these? I don't think the net damage subs that we add to this fire off its ability. Oh, we also lose if they're playing Hush, but Hush now. When the runner encounters this ice, choose a card type for the remainder of the encounter. Whenever you trash a card of that type with net damage from a subroutine on this ice. Oh my gosh, they're playing Hush. Well, I called it. Yeah, with this number of programs. Okay, how many cards do they have in hand? Quite a few. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Oh. Okay, do we just wait till they've got less cards in hand? We can potentially do 6 damage, which even with the Hush. Why would it not? I wasn't sure if it said printed subroutines, but it doesn't. Of course they're on flipping Hush. Okay, thinking. Sure. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Now can we kill them? No, we can still only do 6. Okay, well, our spicy signal jamming is unfortunately not going to do anything because they've already installed their breaker. They're going to need to have 6 cards in hand at any one time to deal with this. We'll just choose event. It doesn't really matter. So what is this? This is still like cost them 6 to get through, right? Can't do that too many times. We're obviously not going to res this because we need to keep that a secret. there's no point in doing anything with our signal jamming. Our signal jamming could have won us this game. Someone's playing Shaper, not just Shaper. They are playing full, like my kind of Shaper. Like, let's put all the green cards in, install a load of stuff, and then make a kind of Doom rig. Unfortunately, they are like they had to dig for a long time to find their MK Ultras because I assume they're on customized secretary instead of SMC. Like this is kind of taking the place of their SMCs. Right, I don't want them to have 6 cards in hand at the end of their turn. So I might install this here and advance. And advance? Uh-huh. Oh, now they've put their MK Ultra in the bin, which makes it... Now we need our signal jamming back. Okay, we're gonna, like, spin doctor for our signal jamming. Maybe we should play Arc Lock. Like, depressingly, we should probably play Arc Lockdown. Or we should play more signal jammings. They've gone to 6 cards in hand again. What's on server 1 and 5? In terms of ice, we've got a DNA tracker here, which is actually incredibly expensive for them to break, no matter what they use. Ice here is an Anansi, which we're just going to res, because then they have to break it, and it's going to cost them an arm and a leg. Is there anything that we can then do with this anemone? Not really. Kind of need a thimble rig res somewhere. Or we just need to res a... I mean, they're going to drip for 5 each turn. They install this for free, which is very nice. They break. Do we want them to? Do we want to stop them stealing this over Carter? Is the real big question. I think I just want money. I'm a bit worried about them running this DNA tracker right now. No, you can continue. Of course, they're on Hush. There's so many things that beats this deck. It's kind of hilarious. Okay, how do we get rid of this? I don't think we do. I think we just have to put another Saisentans here. I don't think they can just move the Hush. Okay. So we need... we need 2 Saisentans in front of 2 Hafrans, both of which are rezzed. That's not fun. Or we move the Anansi over here. Ooh. Jacking out. Interesting. We might get to score this. Wow. Environmental testing is going to get 12 credits when it goes, assuming that they don't do anything else on their turn. Okay, there's the thimble rig, which we need. Stacking 2 Saisentan. So yes and no. The problem is, Axu, that we need... They'll put their they'll put the hush on the outside one, which is the only one that really matters. I think we advance a score. We'll let them pantograph. Oh, if they install a program, then this is gonna. Okay, fine. I was gonna say that's gonna give them so much money. How have we not seen a turbine yet? That's bizarre. We need to find our signal jam. We need to get the signal jamming back into the deck like quite fast. I might look for some econ here. That is not econ. So let's just put this in server 4, take a credit. We'll throw out. I kind of want to push the send a message, but I kind of want a bit more money first. I've just realized that I've left myself 2 Porter Resist DNA tracker. We'll just discard this. We still need 6 cards in hand. Yeah, 6 cards. Actually, like, they only have 6 cards in deck. So she may play 1 more card. Okay, this turn we might be able to get them. Because they haven't trashed their MK Ultra. Because they're scared of signal jamming. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have put a spin doctor there because I think I should be trying to jam, send a message. Okay, conduit. If they run R&D, okay, I think we have the kill. Thinking. So let's just check. So we're going to boot them here. We're going to res the quarantine system once they're here. We're going to pitch. We're going to wait. When can we do this? Choose 1 piece of ice again. Okay, so we're gonna boot them here. We're gonna add all of these counters to this. We're gonna res the quarantine system, and we're gonna trash the Kusanagi to res the Hafren. And they don't have another way of breaking, and we win. Okay. Stuff happening. Right, so we do this. We'll do this. This. We res this. We forfeit this. We res this. We definitely trash a card from HQ, which is send a message. And we choose the MK Ultra. And done. And we'll say event. Not that it matters because Hush is on Saisentans. Okay. That's all my things done. GG. And oh, the other ones didn't fire. Wait, it doesn't add them as choose 1 piece of ice to gain. Thinking about getting my other killer, but there wasn't the reason. Oh my gosh, they've got a second killer. There is a window to use flip switch. They don't have a flip switch, but you know. No. I don't blame you. It's not like you would be playing around Hafren quarantine. I'm not sure. It didn't seem to fire. Yeah, they could have flip switched out. I wonder what stage. I'll tell you what, the one thing, I wonder if the stuff on here counts as stuff that. Ooh, you know what? I think Hush might stop Kusanagi. Um, but I could have thrown you into a Nancy and done the same. Yeah, I should have just gone into a Nancy. I mean, yeah. I called out Hush in the stream about 2 seconds before you put it on the Saisentan. Hush isn't implemented on JNet, but more importantly, or it hasn't been. So unless they've managed to do that, but more importantly, uh, you know, I mean, not everyone knows their Kusanagi interactions. I believe that these additional things um aren't they're not printed subroutines, so Hush would Hush would definitely like stop it. Yeah, it's a great include in your style of deck. Um, never noticed. Hush says host ice cannot gain abilities. Yeah, it can't. It basically Hush. There, I think the way that they wanted Hush to work is that it stops everything. It beats everything. So um so essentially if it's not literally a subroutine, um it it doesn't work. So anything else that you're doing to it, anything that you're putting on it, I think, yeah, I'd assume even like fun stuff like Warden Fatima, like that gets turned off by Hush. Like nothing works against it, and they very much wanted Hush to be the be all and end all card, and I think it's actually like potentially a very strong card. It's obviously like a super tech card, and it's only good in some circumstances, but in those circumstances, it is great. Um, I think that might be me done for the night. Like, I don't think we could play this deck again, and I don't think we'd get a better result than that. We managed to do the ridiculous thing, which I was hoping it could do. Um, and I feel like I'm probably not gonna. It's probably never gonna happen again. So I might just end on a win. Hello, Alex. We are. I'm probably just about to sign off. Um, but anyway, thank you everyone for. Oh, hey, that was a really fun game. Um, uh, I love your build. Like the Wasteland. I feel like the Wasteland Aesop's combo, and with your DZMZs, like that's a permanent money solution which you've actually got going on there. And funnily enough, if you keep trashing your MK Ultra, then that also turns off our combo along with many other things, because we can only half run installed cards, which ironically is why, like, or not why, but it's why we have a signal jamming in our deck, which was a great shout out, and like nearly won us that game. Like, without the hush, I think we had a good chance. But yeah, I really like this. This is like make 6 credits a turn. It seems pretty decent. The fact you're on other breakers as well, I like, because you can just sell the bin breakers and you can actually break stuff with real stuff. I didn't see a turbine. Did we see a turbine? I was amazed that we didn't see a turbine, but I guess it is money. Watching the environmental testings pop for like 12 credits because they're getting wasteland triggers as well is like pretty nuts. Yeah, so leaving it installed because you saw the jamming. So the signal jamming, even though it didn't do what it was kind of meant to do by stopping you installing it, it actually won us the game by stopping you from selling your MK Ultra, which would have got around our combo. Interesting. No turbine. I guess you've got Buzzsaw, and then you have got ways of dealing with it. No Cyber Trooper either, no. But I guess Turbine's just better than Cyber Trooper now, if you were going to run one. Customized Secretary, I think, is a like wild card. Interesting. Ooh, RNG key. Yeah, essentially like every cheap program that you could jam in here, right? So that you can get environmental testing and then just sell them to ASOS. I like it. It looks fun. You can maybe play more technical writers, but I guess slots is probably your issue. Have you thought about Reaver? Guess influence. What is your influence? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You got influence spare? Oh, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, you've got like 1 influence spare. Takobi is excellent. Yeah, Takobi is genius. Absolutely. I am very happy for you to suggest jank stuff for the future. Oh, and actually, especially if it includes bad cards, TM. I'm thinking of making like a video series where I just look at some of the like most underused and underplayed cards in Netrunner, which are still legal, and trying to build decks out of them. Like more, less, like it won't be streamed. It'll be like little, maybe 20-30 minute videos where I just look at one particular bad card trademark and maybe try and build a deck around it, and like film a little bit of gameplay, but not like whole games, like maybe just the like crux of the game and how like you maybe could play this card. So if you've got a favorite bad card, TM, then particularly let me know that. Like whack it in the comments here, or just like Discord or Slack me or whatever. But if you wanted to suggest something now which you want to see built, or think that there's something fun there, then yeah, just chuck something in the chat. So you can find me on Slack or Discord as Baran Wu, or you could just put stuff in the like comments of my YouTube videos. That also helps with like the algorithm and stuff. So maybe I should be telling you to do that. Yeah, like and subscribe while you're there. Hey, yeah, whack it in the comments of this YouTube video and just say, I'd like to see you build this or try to build this or what have you. But I'm always up for suggestions because I like it as a way of maybe coming up with or thinking of ideas which I wouldn't have normally done. That's babbling, mainly because it's getting a bit late. I think it's time for me to head to bed. But thank you everyone for joining me tonight. It's been quite fun. We managed to do something silly with a Saisentan, so that's pretty fun. And I hope to see you all same time next week. And until then,